Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nur Maulana Shah Rahim Al Hussaini Hazri Imam. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal maula wa ni'mal nasir. Ya Maula Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban Maula, we seek your mercy, we seek your help, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, help us, Maula. It is a beautiful Saturday morning, Maula, and we all have gathered to read the Bayan of Sahib al Bayan al Kulli, al Kashfi al Hakikati. Alhamdulillah, that we are truly blessed to be gathered here to study the Faramins of our beloved Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, Arwahuna Fadahu, Allahumma Salli ala Muhammadi wa Ali Muhammad. And we had started this Farman of Zanzibar, September 13th, 1899. But let us quickly go through that, review it to just remind ourselves what was the first beginning part we had studied. In this Farman, if we recall, we remember that Imam had met with the Sultan who Zanzibar, he was in Arabic libas, Arabic clothes, and Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah gave him meeting in his clothes, and then he came in same jubba and Arabic clothes in Jama'at Khana. And that was a beautiful scene for Jama'at. Their heart melted just to see the physical didar of Imam in Arabic libas, in Arabic clothes, recalling the time of Prophet Muhammad. So in that Farman, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah teaches us about the attributions of Pir Sadruddin. It is our beloved Pir who came from Iran to India, Indo-Pak, and he actually gave us the talimat, and it was him that our ancestors had accepted Ismaili Deen, and that's how we have two branches in our Jamaat, two major peers, Pir Sadruddin and Pir Nasir Khusro. And comparatively, the Jamaat of Pir Sadruddin is very small than Pir Nasir Khusro. And then Mola teaches us that, oh, I have not shared my screen, have I? Better? All right. So this is the Farman. I just started reviewing it. And then Imam tells us that today, if any, Imam tells us if today anybody is Khoja, they are Khoja because Pir Sadruddin had made them Khoja. So we have to, Imam is reminding us that why and how, we have to know the attributions of our Pir Mai Bap to realize and to understand. And in this Rahman, Imam beautifully teaches us that that how he was wise, he was honest, he was pure in his batin, and he was intelligent. All these attributions we talked about in detail, And of course, today, if anybody is Khoja, it is because of Pir Sadruddin. And what Imam is telling us that he was just like us. He was just like us, a Dini brother. How did he elevate himself to become a Pir? And Imam in this Farman tells us that if we were to work hard, we can become like our Pir Mai Bap. This Pir who had taken the Jama'at to salvation. And here we are thinking about our own salvation. And Imam tells us the potential we have that you can take Jama'at to salvation if you were to work hard. Believe it or not, it is all about working hard. We work hard for our worldly lives, but we don't work hard for our spiritual, intellectual life. And working hard does not limit us to go to Jamaat Khana regularly. That is a very small part of working hard. In fact, if you remember, we have reviewed, Imam has said that that is the most easy part. And can you imagine that when we do the easy part and we become prideful that we are regular? But when Imam says that that's the easy part, we have to wonder what is the difficult part? And I hope that those friends who are in the journey of knowledge, they realize the difficult part because it is difficult, it is not easy. But Imam is saying if you were to take upon that responsibility to work hard, he will elevate us to the ranks of peer, which is amazing, right? To become a peer. However, remember that in today's time, we do not have any peer. Our Imam is the peer. We don't have any hudud-e-deen. And how do we process or understand that part? That all the hudud-e-deen are merged with Imam. Even the role of the peer is merged with Imam. Imam is our peer. Meaning, in other words, what we are learning, if we were to elevate our ranks, we will be one with Imam. How amazing is that? Right? And we all may call it through different terminologies and understanding. But in reality, the bottom line is that we elevate ourselves, we make our souls fly high with ilm amal to become one with Imam. And if you were to work hard, Imam says, the way P. Sadruddin had worked hard, then you will become like him. There'll be no difference. And here, in this Farman, Imam says that working hard is not that you go to Jamaat Khana regularly. So I hope we realize that is the most easy task to go to Jamaat Khana. And then Imam is guiding us that hakikati jo khudan ma wasal thawani maksad samjhe to tarat marifat ne paame છે. It is about understanding the objective, the purpose of it. If we are hakikatis are those who are more than a momin. Momin is everybody, right? In our Jamaat, we say momin is everybody. Believer is a believer. But those believers who seek the truth, who are in Hudud-e-Deen, who are mustajib, if they were to understand the objective, the purpose, then immediately they will get to marifat. Now, someone may challenge here and say, do we not understand the objective? Aren't we here because of that reason? And if we are, if we truly understand, then do you not have marifat? You do. You need to understand that when we talk about a stage, that stage also has stages in it. So marifat, a hakikati can only get to marifat, nobody else. A Shariati may get to Tariqat, a Tariqati may get to Hakikat, but it is only the Hakikati who will know of Marifat. And Marifat could be that I have to seek knowledge. I realize the objective of my life and I have to seek knowledge to become have the Marifat, and that is it. That is the beginning of journey of seeking Marifat. Pir Sadruddin Khuda ne nazdik hato અને નજદીક સમજતો હતો. This realization, right? We do the zikr, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, that Imam is everywhere with us. But do we forget that? So to realize that we have this disease of forgetfulness, And our zikr reminds us not to forget him and make and realize that he's watching us all the time. And not only just remembering, but believing that he is all the time with us. Not only the difficult times, but in the happy times as well. Because it is easier to remember him when someone is in the difficult time. But in a good time, when it is happy, occasion joyous, do we remember him or do we forget him? So in all the aspects, just to remember him, to remain in the zikr is the beginning of the marifat. So realize that how when one walks on the path of hakikat, it is connected to the path of marifat. And Pir Sadhu, they never did any bad deed. Recently, we had seen the lecture of good deeds versus, deeds which are done in the light of knowledge. I hope you all heard that lecture. If not, that lecture is available now. Because we have to understand that what is good deed in the light of knowledge. For example, today we are understanding that just going to Jama'at Khana regularly and we think that we have done it all, it's completely wrong. It is not even the beginning. It is the most easiest part. And remember, easiest part is given to children. Easiest part is given to children so they are able to do it. So what is the difficult part? What is the requirement of saying that I'm an adult? And remember, in the worldly sense, when we tell somebody, oh, you are now 18 years old or you are 21 years old, now you can drive a car, meaning what? Now you have responsibilities. You own yourself and you have to abide by the responsibilities. If not, then there are consequences. Similarly, when we are talking about this level of learning, there is this maturity, adulthood, ilmi umar, which I normally say, will help us understand and realize that there is this part of walking on the path of knowledge, understanding what is hakikat, seeking what is marifat, and then believing that Imam is with us and our deeds are seen, every thought. What Pir says, Mola to jane chit ki chori, right? Even our one thought, he sees it. So any bad thought is recorded. And for a hakikati moment who knows that Imam is watching me, is with me, he will not think bad. So all these things are important to realize what is good deed. Thinking or going to Jamaat Khana, how do I understand how to make my deeds pure? Amal ki pakizgi. Again, Amal ki pakizgi is actually based on knowledge. A person without knowledge will not know how to purify their deeds. They may think they are doing good deeds. It's limited to thinking, and that thinking giving them pride or happiness that they are doing good. But as soon as they come to the knowledge, it is debunk that thought is realize that it is completely incorrect. So in the sense that when we walk in the journey of knowledge, there are so many layers and levels that Imam says, if you work hard to know those ladders, those levels, then truly you have, done what you need to do. So again, Imam gives us attribution of our Pir that he would go alone, but he would remember and realize that Mawla is with him. And those who realize that Imam is always with them, they will protect themselves from doing bad deeds. And then Imam gives example that would you be doing any bad deeds if your parents are watching? I mean, just observe young children, toddler, young kids, they would not misbehave if the parent is watching. If we don't even remember that our parent is watching, we behave as if we are toddler. So, it is all to do with the age, ilmi age. So in this Farman, when we critically look at it, Imam is actually making us realize, do you know what your age is? If somebody asks us, how old are we? We may give our ages, physical ages. But when we are studying the bayan of Sahib al-Kulli, we have to realize that he is teaching us in different levels, depending on the age of the Jama'ati member sitting in front of him or reading these Faramins. So how old are we? When we read these Farami, what level are we? Are we behaving like a toddler who will misbehave as soon as the parents are not there? Do we remember that our parents are watching, our Mai Bap is watching us? So again, Imam emphasizes that those who remember that, Khuda Ta'ala is watching, they will not do any bad deed, right? And Imam is saying that for all the tasks in your life, you have to think like that, Khuda Ta'ala is watching us. The human, remember again, another part very important that Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, we have to understand. See, Imam here was talking about Hakikati. Now he goes to talk about Insan. These are the clues, I would say, decoding of this Farah means to realize that how Imam talks to different levels in the Jamaat. So Imam says, the one who is human, becoming a Mu'min, will work hard to have all deeds purified because his thoughts will be to elevate in batin. Now, batin is not visible. Batin is all invisible. It is all ainul yaqeen. We have to purify ourselves physically, intellectually to be able to realize this stage of ainul yaqeen or seeing things in our batin. And batin, it's like a mirror. We have a mirror inside us. Our soul is a mirror. And we cannot see in this mirror if the mirror is dirty. So this mirror has to be cleaned, right? There's a concept of mirror, aina, which has been talked about Allama Sahib in his books. But Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has also said that in Faramins that in fact, he has quoted a Quranic verse which says that on the day of judgment, there will be some faces which will be black and white. Now, how do we know if our face is black or white right now? Only if we are able to see it in the mirror, because the mirror will tell us how does the face look like. We are not talking about physical mirror. We are talking about having these batni eyes to be able to see our soul. Is it a black color or white color? And that is mentioned in Quran, that is mentioned in Faramins of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. Then Imam says, your deen is standing on how many pillars? And then Imam talks about it that your deen has been standing on the pure good deeds. And then he goes into detail that how you have to keep your eyes pure and you have to not lie, always speak the truth and walk like an honest person, right? Ethical person and have good deeds, pure deeds. So these are, Amal ki Pakizgi, and if you pick up Kalam-i Maula, if you pick up Book of Healing, this talks about it. And at the general level, we all understand this. But at the higher level, do we realize it? And current time is the time of Qiyamah, and we have Tawili ilm available in Quran to help us understand all these things in a higher level. So, we have to strive now to go beyond the teachings of Faramins and staying in here, but find more related to these Faramins in the Tawili books so we can understand, we can broaden our thinking and understanding. So Imam is guiding us that these are the pillars. If you will, walk in your life, keeping these in your mind, you will be able to understand that how we are walking on Pul Sirat. Our lives, this world is Pul Sirat. Imam says that people say that Pul Sirat is actually when we die. But Imam says this is a lie. The life itself is a Pul Sirat. What is Pul Sirat? It's a bridge of Sirat-e-Mustaqim, right? An example is given is like a sword. When you walk on the talwar ki dhar hum kehte hain, right? You walk on this sword. And how can you walk on the sword? right? It is hard. Or this bridge, which is bridge of Pul Sirat, Sirat-e-Mustaqim, right? This straight path. This path, people say this, Pul Sirat is at the after we pass away. Imam says no, it's a completely wrong thing. It is during the lifetime, meaning, in Quran, Khuda Ta'ala says that he's swift in taking accounts, meaning that he's very quick, very fast. Same day, our sawab is given to us. We are not delayed. He does not delay us. How would that be possible when Imam says that ek ka sawal? When you walk one step forward, he comes near us 100 steps. If he were to wait till the time of death, how is he going to elevate us, push us? So everything happens during our lifetime. So do not be waiting or mistaken that everything is after. There's no after. Yes, there's a life hereafter, which is based on the deeds in this life. So Imam is teaching that dunya ma dunya na kam pul sirat. All what we do in our life, it is actually like pul sirat. And I remember we talking about relationships and finances and whatnot last class, that how it is pul sirat. Because pul sirat is a symbol. Pul sirat is a symbol. For example, if we were to take the example of Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam, and we know his story that he was in the belly of the fish. And he did this zikr, la ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minas zalimin, and he came out of the belly. And now this belly, if you understand the Tawili meaning, this belly can be referred to this physical world, this belly can be referred to the worldly relations, this belly can be referred to physical illnesses, one can have long-term chronic illnesses. You name it. It could be ignorance. It could be lack of doing, lack of zikr ibadat. It could be lack of knowledge. So one symbol meaning so many things. So when Imam is teaching us this that Pul Sirat, we have to understand that there's not just one meaning. It is our whole complete life in totality. How are we living? And remember, our being is at three levels: physical, spiritual, intellectual. All these three beings, how are we living this life? And then Imam says, Tamari hayati maaj pul sirat ne par kar vijiye. This is the most important line we have to memorize it, that Imam's guidance is that during our lifetime, we have to, cross this bridge. If life is the bridge, how do we cross this bridge during lifetime? But that's what is being said to us. This is the guidance. Think, if you are at the first end of the bridge and you have to come here, you have to cross it to reach there. But then our life is given as the example of this bridge. And life ends, so bridge ends, right? But no, that's not the truth. The truth is that during the lifetime, we have to walk on the bridge and reach to the end. Have we ever realized that? It is during the lifetime that we have to cross the bridge. Now, there are two meanings in it we have to understand, and probably more if we continue to go into details of it. When the way we say prayer, right? That Ya Mola, hamara iman akhri dam tak salamat. Till the last breath, we want our iman to be salamat. Meaning that if we are towards the end of the bridge or towards the end of our lifetime, we do not want to make a mistake and, lose what we have earned. And it is possible. It is possible. If we look into the history, it has happened. So understand that there's a dual meaning in it. And the second meaning is that if we were to kill our nafs ammara, if we go through this spiritual resurrection, believe it or not, we have crossed the Pul Sirat. So how amazing that Imam's Faramins are so much in detail, in the sense that guidance is so broad that if we don't keep that in mind, we may miss these things. And then Imam says, Hayati ma sara chalya sara thya ane nek amal karya to jane pulsrat par utariya. Now he's explaining it in a simple way. Remember, there are children there sitting too. Not physical age we are talking about. So Imam has to give food to every level of momin there. So first he talked about high level, now he's coming to the lower level. And what he's saying that during your lifetime, you do good deeds, you walk in a good way, behave well, you did good deeds. That is what it means that you have crossed the pul sirat. Then Imam says, जो खराब रीते चालशो तो पुल सिरात ने पसार नहीं करी सकशो. And if you will not be doing good, then you will not be able to cross the bridge. And then again he emphasizes, Dunya pul sirat misal છે. Misal is different, mamsul is different. So understand the example and stay focused on the essence, the object of it, the reality of it. તમે તમારા દીનની વાતો બરાબર સમજો. See, he's again then emphasizing, right? That I'm not talking just if you're not understanding, you need to really think carefully and understand what I'm saying. જેઓ જાણે છે તેઓ હજી પણ વધારે શીખે. Now, there are those who know, and the hidayat is that learn more. Learn more. If you think you know, you need to learn more. જેઓ શીખ્યા નથી તેઓ શીખે. Those who have not learned, they need to learn. And then how are we going to learn? વાંચશો, સાંભળશો તો તમને ખબર પડશે. First is that you read. Please focus here. First is not to listen. There is this trend of just listening. That is second. First, the way we say, right, in our book study, pre-reading, listen to the lecture, and then go to the post-reading. First, Imam's hidayat is to read. Are we lazy to read? We need to think. If we have hard time picking up Quran, reading the transliteration or translation, this is the hidayat of Imam. First, read. Do we have books to read? Quran, Farman, Ginan, Tawili books, which we are doing as book studies. So first is read and then listen. If those who listen without reading, they do get less. There is no doubt about it. Those who read and listen, they get much more. Retention is much more, understanding is much in depth. તો તમને ખબર પડશે. We want to know what is happening in the world, and we do not know about our own soul, which is within us. जो नहीं વાંચશો, नहीं સાંભળો તો ખબર પડશે નહીં. ખબર પડશે તો શું ખબર પડશે કે સ્માઇલી દીન શું છે? Remember. So Imam is very clearly is again emphasizing that if you will not read, first read. And then if you don't listen, then how would you know about Ismaili Deen? And here I would pause and say that those who read, they will not be impressed by, just a charismatic speaker, because they will know where the references are. And if somebody is misleading them or not giving them references, they will ask them, give me the reference, please. Where are you bringing this from? So there are ways and means to be awakened intellectually and become, murid of Imam in the light of Imam's hidayat and be blessed with his light. Not be just naive child who gets impressed by any colorful toy they see. And this is the example given in the Farman of Imam. So remember that these Farman give us intellect as well. Help us see what is a colorful toy and what is a jam. There's a difference. And then Imam says, Kitab Maulana Room. Okay, so I'll stop here. We will talk about Maulana Room here because it's a totally different topic. And I have some slides to show you. So let's see if I can do here. All right. What I have done today, I have brought some higher level of knowledge. And I don't intend to go into depth of it because it is higher level of knowledge. But basic things to relate and to actually invite you. That this knowledge is available for those who are interested. Majority of people, they get mesmerized by listening to lectures. But if you were to read books and you really work hard, you are the one who can articulate beautifully this tawili. first hukum is read. So let us read. This is the book Quranic Minarets, and in this, Allama Sahib is quoting Farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, Sahibul Bayan al Kulli, right? And this is in question and answer form. So the question is, please present an example of the greatest spiritual progress of our moments from the Quran so that they may realize all their responsibilities in the true sense. So questionnaire is asking, right? Today we are studying Farman. Imam is saying Pul Sirat. What is the highest level of spiritual progress? And Allama Sahib answers. What is the answer? Through obedience to the prophets and imams and by following them. Farman Bardari. Moments can cross all the stages of spirituality until they see with their inner eye. Chashme Basirat. Not physical eyes, but Batni eyes. That the light of Azal rises in the world of the forehead. This light is also called the sun of intellect, whose east and west are the same places. And references are given here. And if you were to study these references, which we have, there are lectures just about these verses Nachis has, delivered. So if you were to read these verses and listen to the lectures, you will understand what does it mean? What does it say? It is here that the greatest divine vision, here where? Here, forehead. The greatest divine vision, didar, and rank of merging, martabae fana, are attained. And it is here where all hidden treasures are and their keys are. Not only that the treasure is there, but the key is there too. And then he says, he's referring to this special majlis in Hasnabad. And I can tell you this majlis was in Hasnabad when Allama Sahib received Ism-e-Azam in 1946 in Bombay during the Diamond Jubilee, before Diamond Jubilee. No, this was, he says, memories of it is Diamond Jubilee. Okay. So Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah giving the Farman, he says that Mala Bapa does like that, doing Farman, that here is the paradise. Bihisht yahan par hai. Bihisht yahan par hai. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah told Allama Sahib, in Jama'at is there, but Allama Sahib is Allama Sahib, right? And he is now referring, and he has given us such a comprehensive answer. I hope you are realizing that he has referred to Quranic verses where it talks about mu'mineen like us who seek the light, and how, there's a prayer in 66 by 8 Surah Tahrim that, Rabbana Mimlana Nurna, that complete my nur for me. So he has given us a prayer. He has taught us how the light walks with us. Where is the martaba fana? All during the lifetime. Full sirat. Now, the basic understanding, and I'm going to say basic because we have to realize, we have to wake up. Jama'at, those who are not at that age, those who are not reading, the first basic understanding is Ism-e-Azam. So yes, it is, this majlis was of Baitul Khayal. This majlis was the one where Ism-e-Azam was given. So yes, Ism-e-Azam is the first key, but it is not the only key. And here, Allama Sahib, if we look at it, he talks about Quran, meaning studying Quran. He talks about reciting Ism-e-Azam because he is referring to that Manli. He is talking about Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah giving Ism-e-Azam, and he is talking about giving the Didar. But then he's saying, if you want to see the son of intellect, who is the son of intellect? Immediately, if we understand the son, we will say Imam. But look at his words. He says, whose east and west. When you read this east and west, in the story of Zulkarnain, if you go and study that, in Quran, Surah 80, it says that don't quote me on the number, 18, Surah 18. It says that how the Noor rises from the east, sun rises from the east and sets in the west. So sun rises from the west and sets in the east. Opposite, Quran talks about it, right? That allegory is actually about us, meaning that in this, he is already talking about that level of understanding that when we talk of Imam being the sun, when we have the knowledge in the Ism Azam, the sun of intellect is both east and the west. Imam and Momin, they are one because they are reaching at the Martaba Fana. Now, this we can take few classes in detail to just discuss this question. But it is difficult. We just cannot stay on one question. And that is why we do book studies, because each book study will give you a piece of it in the context of it. And then you will see the whole story. But it will be you who is reading the story and being able to comprehend the whole story in your mind. That is what Imam wants us. So that is first, and I'm quoting the same book. And here, Allama Sahib, another question that in 40/15, which says, Ya Rafiud Darjat Izul Arsh. We do this zikr, right? And Allama Sahib giving the tawil, he says that ranks means the hierarchy of religion, hudud din, and the throne, because we are talking about in this prayer that elevate us to the arsh, Rafiud Darjat Izul Arsh, that you are the elevator, you are the possessor of the throne, you exalt our ranks. And throne symbolizes the universal intellect. So then what is the spiritual meaning? God will elevate the mominines. Which mominines? The simple mominines in the Jama'at, children? No, we understand now. Those who are hakikati seeking the marifat, meaning those who are walking on the path of becoming an arif. Arif is the one who has the marifat. Arif is the one who is the knowledge. So remember the difference. Understand. So these arifin will be elevated to the rank of universal intellect. Higher state of knowledge of the azal and abd, pre-eternity and post-eternity. Bihisht is here. Beginning is here, end is here. Full sirat we have to pass during the lifetime, not after it. And then in this elevation of the ranks, in these understandings, in becoming Arif, there are divine secrets, knowledge, recognition, spiritual bounties, unlimited bounties. Khairan Kasira. In the Surah Baqarah 269, Khuda Ta'ala says the one who receives this knowledge, wisdom, because this is knowledge, recognition, everything. So they receive wisdom as well. They got abundant good. Khairan Kasira. All these blessings are for Mominins. Then in this part, very important, because we are talking about this full sirat and people may think, oh, what happens after death and what happens this? You get so many questions, but in reality, those who read, they will understand that they are getting answers. And of course, here friends are learning, so they read and they attend book studies, either on knowledge and wisdom or global lectures. When they listen to the book studies, why only book studies are being done? There's a reason. It will be our own earning if we were to read, and it will be the Farman Bardari. So in this paragraph, what are we being taught? There is no past or future in paradise, only the present. It is immovable time there. And there is a spiritual realization of paradise. How? When paradise is brought near spiritually, the past and future concentrate in the present. When a Mu'min Arif does the ibadat and zikr, which includes knowledge as well, the paradise is brought near to that moment. And for that moment, past or future does not exist. Because in their batin, they see all what had happened and what's going to happen. Everything now. Are we able to realize what Imam is teaching in his Farman? The Arif observes everything in the present moment. And Allah Sahib says that this is the spiritual significance of the night of Qadr. Laylatul Qadr we just celebrated. Is it about that night only, or is it about the meaning? This knowledge, when we are study and understand that the Pul Sirat is during lifetime, it opens the door to higher spirituality. All the miracles of the prophets and Imam becomes evident. They see this majizat. They see this majizat. Now, those who are walking on the journey of knowledge, Imam's first Farman, did we see his miracles? We talked about it in Tuesday class. That is just one miracle we saw on the Laylatul Qadr in USA. Right? So can you imagine these miracles we are witnessing? Why are we witnessing? Because we have knowledge. Those who do not have knowledge, they will not know what miracles are happening. So where is the Farman Bardari? Children are going to Jamaat Khana and happy that they are going to Jamaat Khana. Very humbly I say that. And I don't intend to hurt anybody, but yes, I intend to shock you, because if we don't open up our eyes, when will we open? When are we going to die? Do we know? How long is our life? And the way, we understand Night of Qadr is Hujjat-e Qaim, living proof. He is the universal good, Khair-e Kulli. Alhamdulillah. And I think this is my last slide. And this is briefly, Allama Sahib talks about human beings in the dense body are one group. We all are physically humans, humanity, physically existing. We are dense in dense body. We are humanity, right? And every group has ranks. And then there are ranks in paradise. Remember, we talked about, hereafter, because Pul Sirat is not at the end, but in the lifetime, but then there is a hereafter as well. And immediately when we study these farmans, and when I talk like that, people will say, oh, so what will happen to those who don't study, or those who do not know this, or don't have Isma? All those questions are answered if we really reflect on this teachings given in the book. And Allama Sahib talks about paradise. So we'll take a positive aspect, not the negative, but the positive. Those who are Mominins going to Jamaat Khana, even children going to Jamaat Khana. But then there are those who are seeking knowledge, Mustajibeen, right? Then there are those who have knowledge, Arifin. There are so many ranks. There are so many grades in Jamaat, right? What will happen to all these? Are we all going to Imam? Simplified version? Yes, we all are going to Imam, because everything is in Imam and we will be in the Imam. But those who are seekers, they want to know more, they will read. And what they will read, they will realize that paradise is also in 8 levels. We've been talking about the different levels, right? That you will be on the 100th floor, or, the example Lama Sahib has given in his bayan, and we refer to that example. But let me tell you today, give you the factual verses and the names of the paradises which are given in Quran, that there are 8 levels in paradise. And I'm not going into detail of it, but just for you to seek, become a seeker, become a person who studies book. And I know these books are very difficult, no denying. And that's why we do book studies. We have simple levels of book studies and we have higher level of book studies for all the levels of the friends who attend. But are we studying books? So can you imagine? We have Darul Khuld, immortal home, mentioned in 41/28. The abode of peace, Darus Salam, which we say in our dua, we seek, salamati, entering into Darus Salam, 6/127. Enduring home, Darul Qarar, 40/39. Gardens of everlasting bliss, Jannat-e Adan, 9 by 72. Garden of Abode, Jannatul Mawa, 53 by 15. Garden of Delight, Jannatul Naeem, 26 by 85. Iliyin, 83 by 18. And I remember Azim Ali Lakhani talking about Iliyin in great detail in Book of Healing because it was there. So all these paradises are there mentioned in different books and elaboration is given. And teachers are teaching, right? Gardens of Paradise, Firdaus, Jannat-e-Firdaus, 18 by 107. How beautiful it becomes when we have this knowledge and we know and we decide for ourselves, which paradise do I want to go to? Where am I now? If the life is full sirat, have I reached to this paradise? Do I want to? What do I need to do to reach there? What does it mean? All these teachings are given to us in book studies. Vacho ane pachi samro. So all these beautiful talimat are for us, given to us. If we were to realize and understand the farameens and reflect on it. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, Niamat Sahiba, once again, a very thought-provoking, wonderful session. Two questions come to mind. First one regarding the 8 paradises. Which is the top one and which is the bottom? So is number 1 the top, or is it the inverse, 8 being the top?
So what we need to do is to study more because each verse has been talked about it. And we have to reflect and study to find out which one is which one. Each level is paradise, Kareem. Each level is paradise and one has to begin somewhere, right? And each paradise has been described with very beautiful attributions. And when we know ourselves, know thyself, right? Because it is all about knowing ourselves. Manarfa nafsehi faqad al-farabbihi. To identify where we are. In a way, if you were to say, you can say, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, but I do not want to do that because then we are saying that one is lesser and the other is above. But in reality, every paradise is connected to other paradise, no matter where you begin. Imam is the destination. Because if you saw Iliyin is also second last. So there are meanings. There, no doubt there are meanings in it. But it requires in-depth study to realize, and Jannat-e-Firdaus will be the topmost. The highest level of paradise is Jannat-e-Firdaus. But I want to keep it like that so we read more. That's the intention. So Jannat-e-Firdaus is the highest paradise.
Ji. The next question is, Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah was talking to various types of Jama'at and at different levels. So the question is, how can we identify what level we are, or what level I am as such? Now, I know that you've done a lecture on pulse check, which would help us, but if you can say a bit more on this.
Yeah, so very important. I like the way you continue to phrase your question because it is not for us to judge anyone. It is all about me in here to find out myself, where am I and what age I am. Because if we know about ourselves, then we can worry about our own elevation. If we do that for others, then we are in the category of judging. However, in knowledge, we do understand that, those who are not the seekers in knowledge, they are not in this category. They are not going forward. So, what I say that we have to have a pain in our heart for our Jamaat. And we have to pray for our Jamaat because knowledge has given us this understanding that those Jamaati members who are not seeking knowledge, they are not realizing They are not understanding the importance of all these valuable jewels and gems which we have in knowledge. And when we are getting this higher fruits and higher food, we have to have this pain in our heart for the Jamaat. On the other hand, we also have to reflect and realize that, okay, I am in the knowledge journey, I am listening to lectures, but today I read in the Farman that first I have to, okay, let me do this in Urdu, Kareem. Nurjan is asking, let's talk about it in Urdu. करीम का सवाल ये है कि हम इल्म से कैसे पहचानें कि हम किस मर्तबे पर हैं, बिकॉज हमने फरमान में ये सीखा कि कोई बच्चे हैं उम्र में इल्म से और कोई समझदार है, कोई जवान है. तो इल्मी उम्र की जब बात की जाती है तो हमें ये समझना है कि जब हम अपने आप को इल्म में देखते हैं और इल्म मजलिस में आके ये समझते हैं कि जो लोग इल्म नहीं हासिल कर रहे हैं उनकी इल्म की उम्र जो है वो बचपन है, बच्चा है, बच्चे हैं वो लोग. तो जब हम ऐसा देखते हैं हमारे जमात के अंदर, हमारी फैमिलीज के अंदर, तो हमें जज नहीं करना है उनको कि भाई हम अच्छे हैं वो नीचे हैं. ये तो एक नादान आदमी करेगा जिसके पास कम इल्म है. हम उनके लिए दुआ करेंगे, गिरिया उजारी के साथ अपनी जमात के लिए दुआ करेंगे. इस्माइली जमात, इस्माइली जमात, अल हय्युल कय्यूम. अल हय्युल कय्यूम जो इसमें आज़म है आयतुल कुर्सी में, कि वो इसमें आज़म जो हमेशा से जिंदा है और हमेशा कायम दायम रहेगा, उस इसमें आज़म के द्वारा हम इस्माइली जमात के लिए दुआ करते हैं कि इस्माइली जमात को भी ये तौफीक नसीब हो कि वो इल्म हासिल करे. लेकिन करीम का सवाल ये था कि हम कैसे जानें कि हम कहाँ हैं. तो हम जब अपने बारे में अपने आप को जानना चाहते हैं कि हम कहाँ हैं, हमारी उम्र कितनी है, क्या हम एक नादान बच्चे की तरह हैं जो जैसे माँ बाप नहीं देखते हैं और बच्चा जो है वो उल्टे पुल्टे काम करता है क्योंकि माँ बाप नहीं देख रहे हैं. इमाम ने हमें ये मिसाल दी कि माँ बाप के देखते आप कैसे गलत काम करेंगे. तो क्या हमारी इतनी उम्र हो गई है कि हमारे इमाम हमें हमारे साथ हैं, हमें देखते हैं, हम बुरे काम ना करें, बुरे ख्याल ना करें. तो ये तमाम बातें जो है इल्म से हमें समझ आती है कि हमारी इल्मी उम्र क्या है. क्या हमारी उम्र 2 साल के बच्चे की है या 10 साल समझदार बच्चे की है या जवान आदमी है. क्योंकि हमें तो जवान, तंदुरुस्त और स्ट्रांग आदमी बनना है इल्म में, ताकि हम इल्मी तरक्की कर सकें और रूहानियत के राजों को समझ सकें. तो करीम का सवाल इस हवाले से, और जो एक पूरा एक कोर्स है पल्स चेक का, कि इमाम ने ही हमें फरमाया कि हर रात को आप अपनी नफ्स टटोलें, डॉक्टर बने खुद के और खुद की नफ्स टटोलें कि आपने क्या काम किया आज, कैसे काम किए. तो वो आपको बताएगा, आपका नफ्स खुद आपको बताएगा कि आपने कैसे काम किए. और इसी तरह से हमें पता चलेगा कि हमने आज बच्चे की तरह दिन को जिया. बच्चे क्या करते हैं, माँ बाप नहीं देख रहे हैं तो लेट मी डू बैड, राइट. और अगर हम समझदार हैं तो हमें शर्मिंदगी हुई, पशेमानी हुई कि या मौला मैंने नफ्स की गुलामी की, मैंने बुरा ख्याल किया. समझदार हैं तो ख्याल करते ही अपने आप को फौरन रोका, तो वो तकसीरदार, ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता सुब्हानका इन्नी कुन्तु मिनज़ ज़ालिमीन. तो ये तमाम स्टेजेस हैं जो हमें बताते हैं कि हमारी उम्र कितनी हो गई. और जितना ज्यादा हम इल्म हासिल करते हैं हमारी उम्र बढ़ती जाती है. ये तो हकीकत है ना. एक बच्चा जब फर्स्ट ग्रेड में होता है, वो फर्स्ट ग्रेड को पास करता है तो फर्स्ट ग्रेड में नहीं रखा जाता है, उसको सेकंड ग्रेड में डाल दिया जाता है. लेकिन जब हम अडल्ट होके इस इल्म में आते हैं तो यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस, वी गेट प्रमोशन वेरी फास्ट, वी जंप 2 classes 3 classes faster because we are grown ups physically, and we realize the importance of studying, becoming serious seekers, because Imam said those who work hard, right, मेहनत करेंगे. तो हम मेहनत करने लगते हैं तो फौरन से हमारे दर्जात बुलंद होते हैं और फौरन से हमें जो है इमाम की तरफ से ये उम्मीद आती है, यानी कि तजर्बात, रूहानी तजर्बात होते हैं. रूहानी तजर्बात जब मोमिन सालिक को होते हैं तो वो इसीलिए होते हैं कि ये बताया जाता है कि आप सही रास्ते पे हैं और मेहनत करो तो आपको और तजर्बात होंगे. तो मेहनत करते जाना है ताकि हमारी उम्र भी बड़ी हो, हमारी समझ भी बड़ी हो, और हमको जो इमाम इनाम देते हैं वो भी बड़े बड़े मिले. Karim, I hope I was able to talk about it in English enough to help friends who do not understand Urdu. Is there anyone who did not understand what I said in Urdu? You can please ask, okay?
याली मदद आपा, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने बहुत अच्छी तरह एक्सप्लेन किया और मुझे बहुत मजा आया आपकी क्लासेस. थैंक यू वेरी मच. याली मदद.
थैंक यू. आप आते हैं, इनकरेज करते हैं, सुनते हैं, बहुत खुशी होती है. थैंक यू.
Friends, any other questions, comments?
Any reflection on the higher things we shared today on slides? How did you feel? Those who've been reading Farmans for a long time. Any reflection there?
There is a direct question from a friend which says, when leaders, I think this has been discussed previously quite a few times, when leaders do unethical things with us, do we have to let go or correct them?
Very good question. And yes, you're right. We have talked about it. There are very many people around us who will be unethical. And if they're on the seats and if you want to let them know, how would you let them know? That matters the most. By being non-judgmental and making them realize, giving them feedback, making them know about it because they are also accountable. And that is it. Without any judgment and without any anything else, and move away from that place or that person, because if you may get into a situation where you cannot protect your emotions and your thoughts. If you are able to, wonderful, voila, continue to serve. And you have inform them nicely, kindly, politely, and then move out of, move out of that judgment area and forgive them, because it is not for us to, judge them or seek accounts. We make them realize, because amaldaran are accountable to Jama'at and Imam, but when Jama'at is not nice, it is not suitable, I would say, because they are amaldaran. They have worked hard to reach there, and they have worked hard to be in that position, and we want to help them to perform their duties in a better manner. Therefore, we give them feedback. And remember that when we are Jamaat, you have to remember this point as well, that we may not know the whole truth. We may never know the whole truth, because there are some other situations and we are judging and we are seeing things wrong. So always try to give people benefit of doubt as well, and ask questions that I saw that and I did not like it. Am I seeing it right? Did I see you being unethical? I don't want to judge, but can you help me understand this? That is much better approach to make them realize and make them answer you than to say, oh, you did this and you pointing finger. That's not nice. So yes, it is life and we see very many unethical people around us, but remember that we have to protect ourselves first. It is about our soul, and making them accountable, writing letters to higher ups. Why not? To inform them that I don't know if it is correct or not, but this is what I witnessed and I'm seeking answers.
A friend has also added, it bothers them. Is that a disease? Obviously a spiritual disease, yeah. We also, yeah.
So I just want to say, when it bothers you, meaning that it is hard for you to let go, forgive, move out, stay away. Become stronger with knowledge and zikr, and then be in the service. Because if you stay in the service and these thoughts keep coming and you keep judging, then there is more harm being done to your soul than the benefit. Ji.
We also have another question. I think your slide was explained this, but the question is reference given on the 8 points. Are they from the Quran or the books of Sahib?
Both. So all these references I shared was from Quranic minarets, Quranic minar in Urdu, and every name of Jannat was with a Quranic reference given to us by Allama Sahib in that book. So all references were there, my friend.
Okay. Friends, any other last questions, comments before we close the session? Thank you, Niamat Saiba, once again for a wonderful session. And thank you for your time. Thank you, friends, for joining. And inshallah, we'll meet next week again to continue this journey of learning. Thank you, and Yali Madat.
Thank you, Appa. Thank you, Ali Madad.
Yeah.